Is your personal finance system working? Your personal money system, is it actually working? So I've got 7 things here that we're going to talk about to make sure that you are getting results and how to quantify, how to see if you're getting results, because it might not be in the way that you think it is. So here we go. Welcome back to the Your Money, Your Life podcast. I'm your host, Aimee Cerka. Today, we are talking about 7 things that you need to check, you need to make sure that you're doing to ensure that you are seeing results with your personal money system. So, originally, this was going to be like just one episode. We were going to bang out personal and business all at the same time. But when I was looking through it, I realized they really needed to be separate things. So, this week, we're going to talk about your personal money system. And then next week, we'll talk about the business money system and the things that you need to do to ensure that that one is on track and producing results as well. So, why are we starting with the personal money system? Because we're most of us are female entrepreneurs, right? Like you have a business and you started a business to make money. We talked about that. Is it last week, a couple weeks ago? But what we found is your personal money system, what's going on in your personal life, is just as important, if not more important, because the things that are affecting your personal money system, your personal finances, affects how you show up in your business. So if everything's a mess and it's going crazy and everything's on fire, like, nuclear level problems going on over here, you're not going to show up in your business the way that you need to. And you're most likely not making clear business decisions as well. So let's start with the personal, right? What are 7? I've got 7 things here. The first one is the biggest thing. And we're going to have to do like a couple caveats. Like, this is not what this is. This is what it is. But just take a deep breath with me real quick, because I know when we get into these like tacticals, how to take care of these things, how to do these things, the step by step, it can be very overwhelming. And I don't want that to be the case for you. Okay. So just take a second, take a deep breath. All right, ready? Here we go. First thing that you need to do, you need to have to ensure that you're getting results within your personal finances, within your personal money system, is a tracking system. This can be done pen and paper. I use YNAB. It's You Need a Budget, YNAB. And I'll tell you why in a second, but let's talk about what the tracking system needs to actually have. So you need to be able to see your categories clearly. This is one of the reasons that I don't love Mint, which is another resource out there. They're probably not, I know they were bought out recently, and Credit Karma now owns them. I I just don't recommend them for that reason. Like, it is hard to see the categories. You can't delete some of their custom categories. It's a cookie cutter system. You're forced to fit into their box. And it's harder to see the things that you need to and that are important to you because you're trying to fit your life into their software. So you need to be able to see your categories clearly. Now, I know that there's a lot of banks that offer like your category, your spending history, and they'll show you where you're spending. It works. It's not a good tracking system. And here's why. Because I'm sure you have multiple accounts, whether this is just like a bank account, a credit card, whatever you're doing, this tracking system needs to be in place so that you can easily and quickly, because again, we don't want to spend a lot of time on this, see where you've spent across the board. Whatever, how many of our accounts you're using, we're going to get to the percentage-based budgeting system in a minute. So if you've got multiple accounts, whether it's like an account for each category, or if it's just like, you have your bank account and you're using your credit card for the rewards points, like either one's fine. Regardless, we need to be able to have that 10,000-foot view easily accessible with categories that make sense across all your accounts so that you can quickly see what's going on and get a true picture. Okay. Got to have the tracking system. The second thing that you need to ensure your personal money system has to make sure you're seeing results and that you are on track, it needs to be able to handle inconsistent income. Now, as entrepreneurs, our income fluctuates, but I've also found, like, when I was working W-2 and my husband was in the trucking industry, I guess my ex-husband is in the trucking industry, that income fluctuates, right? So we have to have something that handles that, the inconsistent income. Because if you have to sit there and stress about the fact, like, okay, it's a paycheck month this month. So then how are we going to cover these bills? And then you had the high paycheck month and you're like, okay, but what can I actually do? Because I don't know what I'm going to have in the future. It causes so much uncertainty and you don't need that mental stress. If your personal money system is actually working, the system takes care of that. It handles the brunt of the work for you, which includes the inconsistent income. So your system needs to be able to handle the inconsistent income. YNAB as a tracking system does work, but that's not your budget. That's like the caveat there. Your budget needs to be able to handle the inconsistent income as well. The third thing is, it needs to be systemized. It needs to be able to handle the brunt of the work for you. I love numbers. I don't want to be in front of a spreadsheet for hours upon hours upon hours. I know you don't either. So while there's a lot here that we're discussing, it's not time intensive. Once you have the correct things, the proper things in place, it's so simple. And that's why that's my goal. Like, let's just make this simple so you can do more of the things that you want to do with your money. So you've got the tracking system. You've got a budget that can handle inconsistent income. And if you don't, we're going to talk about resources at the end of this episode. Okay. Tracking system handles the inconsistent income. It needs to be systematized so it's handling the brunt of the work for you. The fourth thing, it needs to be scalable because you want to grow your income, right? And as you continue to grow your income, because I know you've got this, you're going to do that. And hopefully, like at a minimum, we're out earning inflation, which we will do an inflation series here soon. I think that one when we did the poll. But it needs to be able to scale because if you're at one income level and everything's fine, but then you grow your income and then like everything falls apart, what the heck was all that work for? Like you just have to do it all over again. And then in the back of your head, when you're setting the next income goal that you want to raise your income again, you know that if everything breaks down when you hit that income goal, like, why would you do that? Like, you're just creating more work for yourself. And then you will self sabotage with your income goal, knowing all of the hassle, headache that is going to show up with your growth. So, tracking system handles inconsistent income, systematized to handle the brunt of the work for you, and it's scalable. Okay. Fifth thing that you need to do need to have in place to ensure that you're getting the results that you're looking for and more within your personal money system. It needs to be able to be flexible, which again, we talked about a couple weeks ago with the summer. You needed to be able to adjust. What are the things that are important to you right now? Because again, that's the goal of your budget, right? It's not about limiting you on what you can do, it's about helping you set the different priorities. So when you use the percentage based budgeting system, it handles the inconsistent income and it's scalable, but it also allows you to be flexible with what you're prioritizing. So if you are being more strategic and wanting to put more money towards debt right now, or more money towards savings or funding a vacation, you have to be able to adjust the percentages and adjust your budget to be able to reallocate the money wherever it might be. So if you're funding a vacation right now, maybe you're going out to eat less in the moment so that you can take a vacation in 2 months. So you need to be able to adjust those again in a simple, easy manner without having to reinvent the system and do everything. With your percentage based budgeting, it is so seamless to be able to do that. Like even the calculators and the worksheets that we've got set up from the Simply Biz Workshop, Money Mastery Academy, several of those, it's set up so that you're good to go. It takes like 3 seconds, maybe. Like you're just going to change the numbers. The formula calculates everything and it's done. It's ready to go. But the important part there is that it's flexible and it doesn't, again, take a lot of your time. Okay. The sixth thing that you need to be doing to make sure your personal money system is actually giving you results and you're going to get results consistently is tracking your net worth. Your net worth, again, is your true financial picture of where you're at. Now, when I calculate my net worth, it is one net worth. I include personal business because, I own the business, those things. It's all on the one sheet. Again, all inside the academy. I'll get to the resources in a minute. But your net worth is the one that you need to be tracking or you should be tracking on an every month basis at a minimum once a quarter. But this is the one that I'll tell you to update every single month. Mine's on the wall back here. This is the one that we focus on. And the reason that we focus on this is, again, so many things on the mindset, but it's the picture of where you're at, but you're also able to see trends. Because again, with the inconsistency, sometimes we have great months, sometimes we have okay months, sometimes we have bad months. But on the net worth sheet, when we look at where we've come from in the last 90 days, even if there's a dip, it's a little dip. And when you zoom out and you can see that 90-day picture, it's again all on the sheet. When you can see that, it's not as bad. You can see objectively where things are truly at and understand that it's just a little hiccup on the road. You're unstoppable. You've got this, and you can keep going. Okay, the seventh thing that part of this is like our recommended next level, part of this is required, okay? Because I've got a couple things lumped here into this last seventh one, okay? And a lot of these we do within our month in process, which again, we're doing inside the Execution Lab, Money Mastery Academy, all those things. But you should be able to quickly check in to see where things are at with your debt, the progress that you've made on it, where things are at, what you're needing to pay, what you're prioritizing paying off, all of those things with your debt. Same thing with your savings. Where are your savings at? Have your savings grown? What savings account do you need to be funding? Do you have multiple savings accounts? All of those questions. Like, it's a quick check-in. Doesn't take a lot of time, again, once the system is set in place, but you know where things are at and you know what you want to do moving forward when you have this in place. So again, you're not worried about it and you already can see the results of what you've paid off with debt, of the savings that are growing. And again, we're not in the details of that as much because we're focused on our net worth, but you still have that information available because it's still something that we should be able to check on. Financial security calculator can be included in there. I personally recommend it just because, again, it gives you a little bit more peace of mind and it's really simple to do. When you're already calculating your net worth, you have that available. So you can get away with doing that one once a quarter if you want, but the system, or you already have the numbers available when you're calculating your net worth. So it's really easy to do. But the one out of this, it's like absolute requirement. This is the thing that breaks most budgets for people. If we can get past the, it feels limiting, all of those things, this is where I see people get tripped. It's what I call your annual expenses sheet. So when you build a budget, you're looking at it like, okay, I've got insurance, I've got electricity, I've got water, gas, rent/mortgage, groceries, gas, all the things, right? Everything we pay for monthly. We are on track. We've got this. Not a big deal, right? Got everything figured out. We're going to have plenty left over. And then something happens. Whether it's HOA dues come up, the refrigerator breaks, the check engine light comes on the car, you need new tires, kids need to register for baseball or gymnastics or whatever it might be. And honestly, most of the lists that I just named are things that have happened to me in the last 8 months. One of those things come up and you're not prepared. So like the HOA dues, we knew were coming, right? So that's where your annual expenses sheet comes in. We have the whole system on being able to handle, because those are all annual expenses, things that we should be planning for, budgeting for intentionally, because we know they're going to come up. But the things that we pay on a semi-annual, annual, quarterly, whatever it might be, it's not monthly, but you know that it's coming up. Ladies, when we go get our hair done at the salon, depending on how often you go get your hair done, that can be included on here as well. But your annual expenses sheet should have a record. There we go. We have each of the months labeled January through December, the date that something renews, and the amount. So when it comes time for that subscription to renew again, you, as part of your month-end process, will take a look at the subscription and know what's coming up for the next month. And then you can make the decision then, like, hey, I need to go in and cancel this because we're not using this anymore. Or, hey, okay, I know this is going to draft out. The reason that that helps is A, it helps keep your budget on track and you don't feel like everything's just getting thrown off course yet again. But you're also canceling the things that you don't need before it renews instead of having to go through the hassle of requesting a refund because half the time we're like, okay, that's just going to take too much time. Whatever. It was $20. We'll just forget it. But when you have this like simple, it takes, I don't know, 5 seconds to look at. When you have that track in place, that system in place, it helps keep you on track so that you're seeing the results. You're not having to put extra work on your plate by going in and requesting refunds all the time, and you feel that much more confident. All right, let's recap the 7 things we talked about to make sure that you need to have in place to make sure your personal money system is producing results for you and you are on track. Then I got a couple resources we're going to talk about. Okay. First thing was your tracking system. We talked about it needs to be able to see the categories daily, and it needs to be in a system that includes all the bank accounts, not just the wonderful bank account summaries that we are given. The second thing was it needs to be able to handle inconsistent income, your budgeting system. The third thing, it needs to be systematized. I feel like I say that word a lot, but you don't need to be responsible for the brunt of the work. It needs to be able to take care of it for you. The fourth thing was it needs to be scalable. It needs to be able to grow with you as your income does. And that way you're not having to go in and reinvent the wheel every single time that your income goes up. The fifth thing was it needed to be flexible so that you can adjust for the different priorities because as different seasons of life come up, different things are going to be important. And maybe we had the conversation about the annual expenses and you're like, oh crap, I need to be funding this. So now you're going to go back and adjust your percentages because we had that conversation. The sixth thing was your net worth. And yes, it is so important to be able to stay on track and keep on track of your net worth and know where things are at because it is the true financial picture of where you're at. So when life throws the curveballs and things come up, you have that net worth and the growth that you've done in your net worth to be able to stand on and move forward. And the seventh thing was being able to quickly check in with debt and the debt payoff progress that you've made and what accounts you're going to prioritize. And the same thing with your savings, where you're at, what savings funds are funded, how funded are they, where are you at in your goals with that. The financial security calculator was another resource that we threw in there. It's a good idea to have in your toolbox that you're checking at least once a quarter. And then the annual expenses sheet, which is the game changing, takes 5 seconds. Like of those 4 things in that category, as crazy as it sounds, the annual expenses sheet might be the most important. It's right up there with the debt because while we're not focusing on the debt, you need to have a strategy for how you're going to pay off the debt. But that annual expenses sheet makes such a big difference when you stay on top of it, and it's so simple to use. All right, let's talk resources real quick. First thing, the best place to be is Money Mastery Academy. It's the 12-week group coaching program to help you finally figure out the money thing. And I have set it up for it to be, attainable, like that it's not high ticket at all. But I wanted to include everything. I want there to be just the one-stop shop. Like I am sick and tired of being in this situation. I'm ready to figure this out, Aimee. Just give me the solution. That's the academy. Because it has everything in there that you need. It's all the step-by-step training. We start with the cash flow calculator so and then I tell you where to start within the portal, but it's all there. Everything that you need is already included. And then you've got the support that you need on top of it. And then we can DIY things and pull out pieces like your budgeting system. That would be Prosperity Simplified. When you buy Prosperity Simplified, which is my business budgeting system, you get Budgeting Simplified, which is the personal budgeting system, as a bonus. But both of those are included with Money Mastery Academy. So it's a no-brainer there, like just to have everything there. Let's see, Prosperity Simplified, because we talked a lot about the budget today. Budgeting Simplified. I'll throw that link in the show notes as well. And then the Budgeting for Success worksheets, a lot of the worksheets that we talked about, that's all there. Again, it's all included with the Money Mastery Academy. But if you are in I need a DIY, I'll include the links below for Prosperity Simplified, Budgeting Simplified, and the budgeting for success worksheets. That's what I've got for now. Next week, we're going to talk about the things that we need to have in place for your business budgeting system, because yes, our personal is our foundation, but we also need our business set up for success. And this is going to be applicable to you regardless of what income level you have achieved in your business. So we'll see you next time. Send me a message on Instagram. If you have questions, let me know. I am here to support you. We'll see you next time. If you're struggling with shame and guilt around your finances, whether it's debt, impulse spending, mistakes from the past, or the fact that you still haven't hit your income goal, then it's time for you to work with me. There are different levels of support and price points that you can use on the path to removing that guilt and shame so you can step into your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique to you, and your support should be too. Go to workwithaimee.com to get started with one of my most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what that next step should be. And those links are hanging out in the description of this video as well.